First of all, welcome to the show. I don't want to be rude. How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
You're doing all right.
Good.
What was your take on what happened with Cincinnati? How do you stop that? And I opened the show by saying that some of these players are programmed to be rabid dogs in games. I mean, their emotions are out of control, and some can control it and some can't. Do you think that Burfict is the guy who just can't control it, or is he a dirty player?
Well, we've had there's a lot of crazy guys that play the sport. That's nothing new. But there's some place that when you've got the proper structure, the guys know they can't, or they lose their job. You want to get guys straightened up, have them have the threat of losing their job.
Even when they're great, it's hard to threaten them to lose the job, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a place where your behavior, that's what I'm saying. There's a certain guardrail. I was in my mind, I was thinking, okay, could this happen? Because I watched it, I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's obviously guys don't feel threatened by their job's not threatened if I'm crazy behaving. Everyone knows you can't behave that way. Like, think about Bill Belichick. It doesn't happen because no one would try it. They wouldn't do it. It wouldn't be part of their mentality. Just, you get into a jam, and then all of a sudden something else clicks in that you're part of this organization that you got. It's part of the, and that's why I've been worried about the culture there. And I know Marvin's tried to change it. And people say, "Oh, don't talk about the culture anymore. We've got to get over that. We've got to get beyond it." And it's, there's something. There's just a collection of individuals there, and I don't know what it is about that place that they can't get over that. But it was just so obvious that when something like that could happen, that could only happen on a couple teams in the country. There's only certain places that are that's possible. Like, it's an impossible scenario. If you'd have told me that would have happened, I said it's impossible. Never happened as a pro. No pro player would allow that to happen. You're professional. There's no way that with the game on the line that you would, in an injury timeout, that you could somehow concoct a way to lose the game without taking a snap. There's no way. It's not possible. You can do it in high school. You can do it in Pee Wee because your mom came to the game. I mean, who knows what it is? But I mean, there's no way as a pro that you could lose the game in that situation. It's not possible.
All right, let's go to the perfect play. You can never read intent. You can't get inside a human being's mind. But the way he reacted after, pointing to his shoulder as if it's okay to hit someone in the head with your shoulder. I just got the complete impression that he didn't know the rule. He thought he was cool to smash him in the head as long as he had his shoulder and not the crown of his helmet.
That's right. I think that's right. He said, look, I hit him on my shoulder. What do you want? That's absolutely true.
So if that's the case and he doesn't know the rules,
history.
Steve, who's that on? It's on him. But at this level, do you still have to teach the rules to players?
I like Marvin. I think he's a good coach, good guy. Every time I talk to him, I'm like, man, I like that guy. Something's amiss. That can't be a mistake. It's a coaching thing.
I think there's no arguing perfect, obviously that. But I don't think that Adam Jones should have been penalized because Joey Porter shouldn't have been on the field. And Mike Tomlin runs this type of culture that you're talking about. Why was Joey Porter on the field?
That was nuts. I think coaches are kind of, when someone's really hurt, all the rules kind of go away. When there's this fear of really something bad has happened, that's why head coaches go out. I mean, people go out. People have a friend, you have a close relationship with someone, you're going to go see him. Is he okay? So it kind of gets crazy at that time because there's not a lot of rules, right? It's like, look, somebody's really hurt and everything stops. That's when sometimes they bring out the ambulance or they bring out the stretcher or, like when someone's really hurt, that's what happens. And so when almost anyone could come out if they feel connected to that situation. I don't think so that was one of those ones where people were really worried about him, the player, and so it gets kind of weird. And that's why it's so, the guy looked like he might be really hurt. How do you create a scene to create a penalty in any possible way? How's it possible? Other than Burfict trying to say something to the guy he just knocked out. It's like, sorry, and the guy, the trainer trying to push him away. I mean, it's just, you couldn't, it's laughable. It's laughable.
Well, now we know because Jones said today that he thought that he was faking the injury. Well, as if the injury was the reason why they threw the flag. So nobody knew what was going on.
Look, one thing I know about football, everybody has an absolute keen sense of the millisecond difference between a legal hit and a late hit. Everybody on the field, you hear it, you know it. Everybody has an intense sense of what's going on the field. Maybe off the field it gets confusing for people, for football players, but on the field nothing gets confusing, especially if you've played a long time. So guy gets hurt, don't care whether you think he's fake, it doesn't matter. Certain things going to happen, certain things aren't going to happen. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. You don't have any doubt. There's nothing to figure out, nothing to say, well, I can't figure out how they threw a flag. I mean, you cannot screw that up. It's not possible. Inexcusable nutso.
Let's move on to the Packer game.
I can't move on. It's too crazy. Move on. I'm sorry. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Aaron Rodgers looked lost at the start of that game. He looked like he's looked the last couple of weeks. And then, I don't know, Steve, you could speak to this better. It seemed like something clicked in and he became Aaron Rodgers again.
Well, he started making some plays. Things started to open up.
So a guy like that could still lose confidence?
Yeah, well, what happens is you understand out of the huddle the play, and you go run it, and it works a lot of the time. And then the more times it doesn't work, you actually go and make a play anyway. So you have this double dip you get all the time. And he's done it for years, and it's awesome because he gets a lot out of the play out of the huddle, and he gets even more. And it's like that's why so rarely does he get stopped. The last few weeks, he's got no chance out of the huddle. Like he gets out of the huddle, the play out of the huddle, it just never comes up. He's getting swarmed. He's moving around. So then all of a sudden it's like, well, now I just got to make plays. And later in the year here, it just didn't come out. It just didn't happen. Like all of a sudden, I can't do anything out of the huddle because I can't get protected. I can't get anything happen, and I can't even get out and do the other stuff. So you start to wonder, what can I get accomplished? So you do. Things get really tough and difficult, and you think, my gosh. And so he looked like a guy that had been thwarted, right? Has been struggled, and not, where do I turn? Where's the answers? And all of a sudden, he started to make some plays outside. Said, well, at least that's something, and got more and more confident making those plays. And then all of a sudden, he started making plays out of the huddle. Started running the football. Then guys started opening. He shot protected. A couple times he dropped back, made a play action fake, and it got sat there. He's like, oh my gosh, I could stand all day. So it just all of a sudden started running downhill. And as soon as he started to feel that, that's like a warm blanket, right? That's just, I do that all day long. And that's why it turned right there. You watched it.
Steve, you go out there and you kill yourself for 60 minutes in minus 20-degree wind chill.
Oh.
Is it hard to have the kicker decide the game for you? Can you treat him like anybody else on the team that made a mistake?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it was always different. The kickers are different. They don't practice with the team. It's just different. They're kind of almost like a big boat, and then out the little dinghy out the back, and the kicker sits on that, and it's awkward. It's always awkward with the kicker, but you love him because he wins games for you, and he does a lot of stuff that really matters. But it feels that way. The only thing I can say is they would not have scored without this kid kicking into the wind 47 yards, 35. I mean, he hit some. It was brutal. He hit that 47 yards like, hey, that guy's legit. But it is, when you fight the whole way and get down there, I was sick for the kicker, number one, sick for the team, number two, because of the years of frustration. It was just, and to me, I've always said the biggest mistake Minnesota ever made was playing indoors because they lost the advantage of who they are. Green Bay never lost that. Detroit has. Both of them floundered in the North since going indoors, generally. So I was like, all of a sudden, my theory was going to, look at that. They fought back. They're going to win. They're going to do what the Vikings do in the cold. That one hurt. That one stung in a way that you don't get over for a long, long time.